It is an honor and privilege to welcome our survivors, fellow officers, law enforcement families, and distinguished guests to this, the 43rd Annual National Peace Officers Memorial Service. I'd also like to welcome Americans across this country watching on C-SPAN and YouTube. This memorial service started in 1982 as a gathering of fraternal order police leaders, survivors, and supporters of law enforcement in a Senate Park not far from here today. That very first memorial service had roughly just over 100 people in attendance. Decades later, this event has become the cornerstone of what we now know as Police Week, and we welcome all of you to your nation's capital as we honor our fallen. I'd like to begin by introducing our guests that joined us on the dais today. Beginning at my far right, please welcome Senate Sergeant-at-Arms Karen Gibson, and one of our corporate sponsors, Mike Wagers, Senior Vice President of Axon. We are pleased to have with us Troy Miller, Acting Director of Customs and Border Patrol, as well as Laurie Sharp-Day, Chairman of the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial Fund and National President of Concerns of Police Survivors, Connie Moyer. Please welcome ATF Director Steve Dettelbach and Jim Bugel with First Ed, built by AT&T, a major sponsor and supporter of this event and the FOP. Two of our most steadfast allies is the General President of the International Association of Firefighters, Ed Kelly, and the President of the International Association of Chiefs of Police, Wade Carpenter, who have joined us today. Next is Hugh Clement, Director of the Cops Office at the Justice Department. Hugh is a former member of the National Fraternal Order Police Board and a very dear friend, and we welcome him here today. I want to thank the Chief of our host agency, Chief Tom Major, with the United States Capitol Police. Chief, thank you to you and your agency that you give in hosting this memorial service each year. And Glenda Lehman, the Fraternal Order Police Auxiliary President, who will welcome you in just a few moments. Turning to my far left, please welcome House Sergeant-at-Arms William McFarland, Ron Davis, the Director of the United States Marshal Service, and DEA Administrator Ann Milgram. Also with us today is Patrick Lechleitner, Acting Director of U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, and a Director of Secret Service, Kim Cheadle, and FBI Director Christopher Wray. It's also great to see a good friend and partner, Deputy U.S. Attorney General Lisa Monaco, who's joining us here today. Welcome to Alejandro Mayorkas, Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security, who's once again joined us at this solemn event. And we're proud to have this nation's top cop, Attorney General Merrick Garland. Thank you, both of you gentlemen, for your support to state and local law enforcement. And finally, it is our privilege to have Joseph R. Biden, President of the United States of America, who I will introduce more fully in a few moments. President Biden, General Garland, Secretary Mayorkas, distinguished guests, survivors, esteemed colleagues, friends, and family members, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to each of you for joining us today as we honor the lives of 222 fallen heroes. Choosing a career in law enforcement is a calling that demands resilience, strength, and a deep sense of duty. In every corner of this great nation, there are courageous men and women, like those that you see here today, with such a strong sense of devotion and protection that they protect property and life and stand a fine line between order and chaos in communities all across this great nation. Day in and day out, officers answer the call of duty without hesitation and without fail. We are driven by a noble sense of service and unwavering dedication for the greater good. Police officers are ordinary people with extraordinary courage, willing to go above and beyond to keep our streets and our communities protected and thriving. Despite the toll it takes physically, emotionally, financially, at the end of the day, we find solace in knowing that we made a difference in the communities we serve. A community protected, a sense of security restored. Today, more than ever, we owe a debt of gratitude to those who selfishly put their lives on the line in the service of others. And we are guardians of a free society, the silent heroes who make a difference and make sacrifice most will never truly comprehend. And we all know that sacrifice extends further than the officer. Every member of a law enforcement family feels the weight of the badge. None more so today than our survivors seated in the white seats before me. Each chair represents a life cut short, a family left to struggle with profound loss and grief, a poignant reminder of the ultimate sacrifice made by our fallen officers. To the survivors, both blood and blue, your burden is heavy, your pain unimaginable. But know this, you are not alone. I stand before you today as a representative of the law enforcement community of officers across this great nation to offer our deepest sympathy and unwavering support. We stand with you with your sorrow. We mourn alongside you, and we honor the indelible mark that your loved ones have left in our hearts and on our nation. Each of these officers took an oath that included, with my life if need be, and each one gave the last full measure of service to others. In honoring their memory of our fallen brothers and sisters in blue, we ensure that their legacy of bravery and sacrifice endures. Theirs is a legacy that's woven in the very fabrics of our nation, a testament to the enduring spirit of American resilience and valor. Let's never forget the profound depth of sacrifice, nor the immeasurable impact that each has had on all of us in our great nation. Thank you. Please join me in welcoming country music artist Cooper Allen, who will perform Never Not Remember You.
I know you're up in heaven, but damn, it hurts like hell. 'Cause I'd just be pretending if I said anything else. And I know God don't make mistakes, but this sure feels like one that won't change the facts, and that won't bring you back. So I'll cry 'cause it's over, smile because we had you, packed a whole lot of living even though it ended all too soon. And in time I'll start healing, but even when I get that feeling, no matter where I go or what I do, I'll never not remember you. God for all the memories and pictures on my phone. They don't fill the empty, but I feel less alone. And I know you're with the angels, right where you belong. 'Cause you were one to us, you left a legacy of love. So I'll cry 'cause it's over, smile because we had you, packed a whole lot of living even though it ended all too soon. And in time I'll start healing, but even when I get that feeling, no matter where I go or what I do, I'll never not remember you. You lighten up a whole room like that, made us sing, made us feel, made us all laugh. You're always giving that shirt off your back. I miss you bad, I miss you bad. So I'll cry 'cause it's over, and smile because we had you, packed a whole lot of living even though it ended all too soon. And in time I'll start healing, but even when I get that feeling, no matter where I go or what I do, I'll never not remember you. Oh, I promise you, I'll never not remember you.
Thank you. I would now like to introduce Glenda Lehman, President of the National FOP Auxiliary, who will offer welcoming remarks to this memorial.
Mr. President, esteemed guests, brothers and sisters of law enforcement, and you, the family and friends of our fallen heroes, welcome to the Fraternal Order of Police 43rd Annual Peace Officers Memorial Service. In 1962, President Kennedy proclaimed that May 15th as National Peace Officers Memorial Day, and the week within which it falls, National Police Week. Every year during National Police Week, in cities and towns across our country, memorial services are held, honoring those law enforcement officers that have given their lives in the call of duty. And every May 15th, with flags lowered at half-staff, we gather here on the lawn of the United States Capitol, along with the leaders of our country and the leaders of law enforcement. In those few moments, the country pauses to pay tribute and honor to the memory and the sacrifice of the brave officers who gave their lives in service to protect those very communities. The 222 brave law enforcement officers whose names will be read here today are heroes. They're heroes because they, like thousands of other officers, were dedicated to the safety of others. They put on a uniform, they pin on a badge, and they left their homes and you, their families, to protect our homes and our families. In their service, they gave great sacrifice. Greater love has no one than this, that someone lay down his life for his friends. They gave their lives in service to protect others. But we also recognize that you, their families, you also have bear great sacrifice. Plans, events, important milestones, everyday moments that will be missed. I wish I knew the perfect thing to say to make it all better, but those words don't exist. But while no words or no actions can truly express our sorrow or lessen your loss or your sadness, know that we do grieve with you. I'm humbled to stand before you today, along with thousands of other law enforcement officers and their families from across the country, not only to acknowledge our heroes, but also to support you. There are things that death cannot touch, and your love for your officer is one of those things. Know that your loved ones have left a mark on our country and in our hearts, and for someone so special, they cannot be forgotten. We hope that today's service may bring you comfort. And on behalf of a grateful nation and law enforcement families everywhere, we extend our heartfelt condolences. Know that the members of the Fraternal Order of Police Auxiliary extend our unending support, and we pledge to let you never walk alone. May God bless you and keep you.
Today we share our grief with the families of our fallen heroes. We draw strength from each other, from the memories, and from the certainty that they will live on in our hearts. On this solemn day of remembrance, it is our honor to welcome to our 43rd Annual National Peace Officers Memorial Service, Joseph R. Biden, the President of the United States. He's been a part of our service many times over the years, as President, as Vice President, and during his time in the U.S. Senate. On behalf of our members and our families, thank you, Mr. President, for again joining us today. Brothers and sisters, our surviving families, and distinguished guests, please join me in welcoming the President of the United States, Joseph R. Biden.
President Yost, Auxiliary President Henney, Auxiliary President Lehman, Executive Director and good friend Jimmy Pasco, thank you for your service to our nation and for inviting me to join you once again today. I'd also like to thank the Attorney General, the Deputy Attorney General Monaco, and as well as the Homeland Security Secretary Mayorkas, and the Director of the FBI, Secret Service, Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, U.S. Marshal Service, and the Capitol Police for their leadership. We're also joined by my good friend, Wade Carpenter, President of the Chiefs of Police, and Ed Kelly, President of the Firefighters Union, And thank you, members of the Congress, who are here today. 2 weeks ago, I was in Charlotte, North Carolina, to spend some time with the families of the 8 brave police officers who were shot in the line of duty. Tragically, 4 of them were killed. They were husbands, fathers, heroes. And all of you who serve, and for your families left behind, you live a simple truth. Every time you put on that shield and walk out of the house, your family wonders if that call will come, or if they'll get that terrible call somewhere during the day or night. We owe you as a nation. This year, we honor over 200 heroic women and men from all across the law enforcement community who made the ultimate sacrifice. For all the families of our fallen officers, I know hearing the name of your husband, wife, father, mother, son or daughter, brother, or sister brings it all back as if you got that news just 10 minutes ago. That black hole in the middle of your chest, you feel like you're being sucked into. It's like losing part of your soul. I know when my son Bo spent a year in Iraq, came home with stage 4 glioblastoma, he was going to die, and he did. I know what it's like. I get a feeling that you all know as well who have lost in the past. You know, I found out there's only one thing, at least for me, when I got the call that my wife and daughter were dead, when I got the call my son was about to die. I know the only one thing that helped, family. If you have family, hold them tight. Hold on to each other. Because the day will come, it's hard to believe, when the thought of your husband or your wife or your son or your daughter will bring a smile to your lips before it brings a tear to your eye. It takes a long time, but it will come. My wish for you to come sooner than later. There was a line from the English poet, John Milton. He said, "They also serve will only stand and wait." Every family of an officer stands and waits so the loved one can serve the rest of us. I admire your courage in being here. I hope you take comfort in the knowledge that their sacrifice will never be forgotten, and that in this extended family of women and men assembled here today, they'll always be there for you. Other police officers, they'll always be there for you. Throughout my career, I've unfortunately spoken to too many funerals of too many police officers, extraordinary, brave, heroic public servants who kept us safe. Being a police officer is not just what you do, it's who you are. You're just like all the women and men in law enforcement I grew up with in Scranton and Claremont, Delaware. You always run toward danger as others run away from it. Most of you, even when you were kids, you did it, long before you became an officer. You run toward the cries for help, knowing that you could be of help. It's part of your DNA to serve, to protect, to defend. You represent the very best of America. You're the steel spine of this country. Back in February, I convened a group of police chiefs at the White House to talk about the hard work you're doing to make our community safer. Being a cop is one hell of a lot harder than it's ever been. We expect everything of you. We expect everyone. Drug counselors, you're supposed to be, protecting people who are overdosing. Social workers, the kids who have been abandoned. Guardians, communities flooded with weapons of fear. That's why since day one of my presidency, I've been working to make sure you have the tools you need to protect, the partners you need, the community to help. During the pandemic, I signed the American Rescue Plan, provided $350 billion to states and cities that they could use to keep communities safe, retain and hire more police officers, pay overtime and bonuses, expand benefits for disabled first responders, and support violent prevention strategies. Places like Detroit, Toledo, Kansas City, Houston put more cops on the beat. was one of the largest federal investments ever made in public safety. Also signed the most sweeping gun safety law in nearly 30 years to keep guns out of the hands of dangerous individuals, while strengthening background checks for gun purchases, cracking down on illegal gun sales, reining in ghost guns that are increasingly found at crime scenes. My Safer American plan invests $37 billion in public safety, to hire more police officers, trained in community policing, to build trust, to solve crimes faster. I'm grateful for the partnership of Jim and the other law enforcement officers that we work together on my executive order on policing. My Safer American plan also makes investments to support programs that are proven to tackle the root causes of crime, to ensure you have the psychologists and the social workers responding to crisis alongside you. We also know that police officers deal with unbelievable stress. Every time you respond to a call, execute a warrant, or conduct a traffic spot, there's a tremendous risk. Fear of ambush, anxiety of not knowing what's behind that door, the trauma of bearing witness to the most horrible tragedies imaginable. That's why our administration is laser focused on providing you with the mental health and wellness resources you need and deserve. That's why I also signed extended benefits for families of officers who tragically died by suicide, honoring Capitol police officers like Howard Liebengood, who defended the Capitol on January 6th, and whose dad I knew well when he served as Sergeant-at-Arms in the United States Senate. We remember all our law enforcement who defend this Capitol and our democracy on that terrible day. And Congress should also pass the Honor and Fallen Heroes Act that extends benefits to first responders who are exposed to toxic substances and die of cancer. I know so many who still carry the physical and invisible wounds of your service. We can never thank you enough for your courage, your service, and your sacrifice. You risk your lives every day for the safety of the people you don't even know. That's why each of you, each and every one of you is a hero. It's no accident that violent crime is near a record 50-year low. A 50-year low is because of extraordinary effort by all of you and your communities, together with historic steps taken to support you. To stop the flow of illegal guns, to hold gun traffickers accountable for crimes. It matters, and it matters a lot. I often say there's no greater responsibility of government than ensuring the safety of the American people and those who sacrifice to protect us all. We've made a lot of progress, but there's still much more to be done. Let me close. To the families here today, my wife and I know how hard it is in different ways. But I promise you, the day will come again when the memory of your loved one will bring a smile to your lips before it brings a tear to your eye. It may take a couple seasons, but it will come. And I hope you always remember one thing that is never fully lost: your love for them and their love for you. God bless you all. May God protect law enforcement, and may God protect our troops.
Colors, honor guard, attend. Colors, right shoulder, arms. Ready, cut. Honor guard, colors, present, arms.
please welcome Sergeant Jane Britton of the Los Angeles Police Department, who will perform Wind Beneath My Wings.